Okay, so let's get into it. The first game on this list is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is also the 12th main game in the Assassin's Creed franchise and shares very similar feelings to its predecessor, Assassin's Creed Origins, which was released on October 27th for all the major console and PC at the time. And Valhalla also shares very similarity to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that's probably because of the gigantic world that it has, a big open world that is free to explore, but it's not just a big boring world. There's a lot of things, you got a lot of things you can do. You have exploration, from doing raids on your enemies, side quests, hunting down mythical items, weapons, and also mythical beasts you can fight. It's just a big world, a lot going on, and it's a great thing for everyone to experience just in the world alone. But if a big open world doesn't seem like what you're looking for in the game, don't worry, because that's not the only thing that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has to offer. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has amazing combat with a really amazing combat system that, to really be honest, is one of the best. There are a lot of different weapons you can choose from, a lot of different weapons you can choose from to brutally seize your enemies from ever existing. Although the skill tree in Assassin's Creed Valhalla is pretty new to the Assassin's Creed franchise, and it's not really well done in my idea. But if you can look past that, then it's clearly that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has one of the best combat ever seen in video game history, and the story is also brilliant. But I'm gonna leave y'all to discover the story on your own, because right now you can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla on your PS5 at 4K 60 FPS. So y'all gonna give it a try. Okay, next up is Ratchet and Clank. This game was one of the first games that was showcased actually with the PS5 back on launch day in 2020. Ratchet and Clank is also the follow-up to Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus that was released for the PS3 back on November 6th, 2013, I think it was. Yeah, 2013. And keep in mind, this franchise started way back in 2002. That's like almost 2 decades. Next year gonna be like 2 decades. And I gotta say, for a game that's running that long, Rift Apart, definitely, I can say proudly that this franchise is still on its feet and it's going strong. That's a long way to go. And I mean, for a PS5 exclusive, Rift Apart delivers. You got a massive world, different planets and dimensions. You can go and explore. You can do missions on these different planets. There's also a new main character called Rivet, and she's just as cool as Ratchet, to be honest. And the combat in Rift Apart is the same amazing shooter melee combat that we were used to, but where the real difference and upgrading combat really lies in Rift Apart is the weapons. You got so much weapons you can choose from. There's even a cannon that turns your enemies into low pixelated sprite when you shoot it. I mean, like, how cool is that? And you can get around these planets and these landscapes. You can jump around. You can ride your hover vehicles, and your hover vehicles, and you can even straight up fly on bugs. Like literally fly in big bugs with wings. I mean, that's really cool. And the graphics on the PS5, it's just mouth-watering, man. It is stunning, man. The visuals are great. 60 FPS. There's even RTX. You can literally see the reflection of buildings and the effects, like your weapons and all that. You can literally see them in the water if there's a puddle nearby or in mirrors. And I think you should definitely go and give this game a try on the PS5. This game is well deserving. So I think y'all should go give it a try. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, great game. Recommend that you go play it. Okay, so next up is Demon Souls. Demon Souls is a remake of the 2009 PS3 version, Demon Souls, that was made from Software. But the remake, which launched on November 12, 2020 exclusively for the PS5, was made by Bluepoint Studio. Demon Souls is an action role-playing adventure game and is very similar to the Dark Souls and Bloodborne franchise, but it's more like a laid-back type, not so challenging compared to those two. But don't get me wrong, Demon Souls is still very difficult. But if you had mastered Dark Soul or even Bloodborne like multiple times, you will have a not so hard time with this game. I mean, the combat is the same sword slashing, perfect time blocking, wise choice of attack, just like Dark Soul or any other the dark medieval RPG game. The story though is pretty lackluster, but if you want a great refresh on a medieval dark fantasy game, but I mean, one thing Demon Souls really deliver on is the bosses. I mean, those bosses will let your head spin and have you regretting not really thinking before, facing a boss that looked not so dangerous. But you know what they say, looks can be very deceiving, and it does in Demon Souls, literally. Some of these bosses though, they do look real scary, like I just walk out of a horror movie. And with the PS5 graphics and the frame rate, it really makes for a not so fun time of you wondering why you keep dying over and over to the same bosses. But I really recommend y'all give Demon Soul a try. Okay, next on this list is Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village is by far one of the best releases of 2020 so far for gaming, and it's also one of the better Resident Evil games that we have gotten over the last decade. With an exception of the remakes are pretty good, but when it comes to the mainstream Resident Evil games, Resident Evil Village is just like its predecessor, Resident Evil 7. Both Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village have you play as Ethan, the main character. Resident Evil Village is set in an old village populated by different monsters from you got vampires, you got werewolves, you got creepy, weird shaping monsters, and also weird, tall, attractive ladies. Well, there's only one of those, but I mean, the game is actually set in a first person perspective, following the same thing that Resident Evil did, with the same first person visual. That was like new to the old series, but it's cool and it works. That's the greatest thing, it works. The combat is pretty much the same, you shoot to kill the monsters, and you can even melee them if you want to get so close to these dangerous looking creatures. I mean, it's still pretty hard because starting the game almost was pretty scarce. But as you progress down in the game, it gets a little bit easier. The story is not bad. It's just a whole different type of roller coaster. The game literally starts off with your wife being killed and your baby being stolen from you. Later to find out that your wife is actually not dead. She was kidnapped and taken to the village alongside with your baby. And your goal is to rescue your family and save them from these strange monsters. And the visual and the frame rate on the PS5 is perfect for you to try this game on. If you haven't already, or even if you did, you can still replay on the PS5. It's a great game. Overall, I like it, and I think y'all should give it a try. Okay, and the last game on this list is the game that started it all and gave the PS5 the upper hand at launch, and that game is Spiderman Miles Morales. Spiderman Miles Morales is basically the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man. It's just improved and has a whole new Spider-Man playing the story. I mean, Peter Parker Spider-Man is still in the game, but he leaves pretty early in the game story, and leaving not the so 100% Miles Morales to protect the city from threats and from the threats of the underground purple gangs, which basically steal high power tech to upgrade their weapons, so they can get high power tech weapons. The combat is pretty much the same from Marvel's 2018. It's just smoother, and there's a lot of new combat abilities. One of these best combat abilities is definitely the Venom Punch, which is amazing attack to stun your enemies, and you can even go invisible to sneak past your enemies. Yeah, the game improved a lot on stealth, which is awesome. I mean, the game all around is awesome. The city is the same city from 2018's Marvel Spider-Man. It's just covered in snow, just showing the holiday spirit. But bear in mind, Spider-Man Miles Morales is half the length of Marvel Spider-Man, but that's all based on what you're doing. But when it comes to visual, they really they outdid the visuals on this game, bro. It's beautiful. The effects and color, the lighting, really